Am I going to have to track macros for the rest of my life? This is a question that I often get from new clients, especially lifestyle clients who maybe are not super familiar with tracking macros. Maybe this is their first time learning how to do it. And they ask me, is this something that I'm going to have to keep up for the rest of my life? And my answer to them is, it depends. Now, it depends on a few things. It depends on whether or not you're going for a specific goal, if you've kind of reached where you want to maintain and you're happy with in terms of performance and physique long term. So, those are going to be some factors that determine how long you keep tracking macros for. My suggestion is always if you have a very specific goal in mind, whether it be fat loss, whether it be muscle gain, anything like that, or performance reasons, then tracking your macros is going to be the most efficient way to reaching your goals faster. It's not the only way, but it's the most efficient way. But for a lot of clients that I work with that are just lifestyle clients, the thought of tracking macros for the rest of their life is a little daunting. Okay. If any of you guys are watching this and you've been tracking macros for quite some time now, you know it's second nature, but it took a little bit of time to get there. It's probably a little messy at the beginning and a little annoying, to be honest, right? So, with these clients that ask me these questions, I tell them the eventual goal is to hopefully get you to a point where you can intuitively eat and maintain your physique and your performance, within a given range that you're happy with. But how do we go about getting there? And that's something that scares a lot of clients thinking, okay, I'm going to be very, very dead on with my tracking, but what do I do when I don't have that? Am I going to go crazy? Am I going to go off the rails? And the answer is you may if you don't take these steps that I'm going to talk to you about now. The first thing that I do with my clients is if this is going to be an eventual goal for them, then we start learning about portion sizes throughout. So, paying attention as you're weighing and measuring your food and tracking your macros, paying attention to what a 4 ounce piece of meat looks like when you weigh it, what a cup of starch looks like when you measure it out, things along those lines. And then once they're pretty comfortable with being able to, estimate portion sizes, stuff like that, then what we do is we start moving slowly away from tracking macros. And we do this by maybe just picking one meal a day to be a little bit more intuitive with. And as we gain that confidence of, weight staying stable and they're able to do it without any fear or any hesitation, then maybe we move on to doing 2 meals a day and maybe 3 meals a day. And then maybe 3 or 4 weeks down the road, we go to one whole day of just not tracking. All right. And we take these little baby steps instead of just saying, boom, we're going to cut off tracking macros right now and you're going to go to intuitively eating. Because that going from 0 to 100 never works for anybody. Okay. That is a surefire way to fail and fall back on your old habits, which frankly probably weren't really good, which is why you started tracking macros to begin with, right? So start slow. So I go with over my clients proper portion sizes for proteins and starches and fats, and also slowly integrate one meal and then maybe 2 meals a day, then maybe 3 meals a day, and then maybe a whole day of not tracking, and then maybe 2 whole days, and then 3 whole days. And this is an approach that takes a while. Okay, this isn't something that you want to start the week before you go off of tracking macros. Usually, this is about a 4 to 6 week process in terms of what I do with my clients when it comes to transitioning from tracking macros to intuitive eating.